And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. It's where I get all the emails that I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. We can talk about anything, including the weather if you want to. Well, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is John Matthews in his series, The Conservative Syndicate, and my special guest is Sean LaFave with his series, Geared for Wellness. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But first off, I want you to know that at 3:04 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 88 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Now, let's get into the news. The 10 things that you need to know for today. Your daily look at the late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today, Thursday, and probably most of the day tomorrow, Friday. And first up, Russia launches airstrikes in Syria. But just who is targeted? Islamic State extremists or more moderate rebels battling Moscow's longtime ally, Bashar Assad, is in dispute. In Russia, linked hackers probed Hillary Clinton's private email server. Newly released emails show the hackers tried at least 5 times to pry into Clinton's account while she was Secretary of State. Ben Carson rakes in record $20 million in the last 3 months. That's more money than was raised by the GOP's entire White House field combined during the same period 4 years ago. And who's ramping up uncertainty in the Middle East? Addressing the United Nations General Assembly, Palestinian President Abbas declares that he is no longer bound by any pacts signed by Israel. And the Pope met with the defiant Kentucky clerk. Yep, you heard me right. The private visit with Kim Davis that occurred during Francis's trip to the U.S. represents a strong papal endorsement of religious resistance to gay marriage, experts say. And the East Coast is getting a drenching. The rainstorms may soon be joined by Hurricane Joaquin, which could dump as much as 10 inches through early next week in some places. Well, Congress okays the stopgap spending bill. Yep, you heard me right there. The vote keeps the government up and running, but with no assurance that there won't be another shutdown or slowdown in December. Which Titanic relic has been auctioned for $88,000? Wait till you hear this. Actually, it's the menu from the last lunch on the doomed vessel was saved for posterity by a first-class passenger who climbed aboard a lifeboat. Can you believe it? A menu? $88,000. And prosecutors declined to charge Caitlyn Jenner in a fatal crash, citing insufficient evidence. The California accident that killed another driver occurred before Jenner announced she is transgender and transitioned into her new identity as Caitlyn. And then we have what's giving the NCAA cause to celebrate. Well, a federal appeals court strikes down possible cash payments to college athletes for the use of their names, images, and likenesses in video games and television broadcasts. Well, that's the capsulated version of the news. Let's get into a little more in-depth stuff before we go for our commercial break. I try to give you the encapsulated version first because we want you to make sure that you know exactly all the things that are happening that you should be aware of that's going on in the world today. But right now, let's get into a little more in-depth. A gunman opens fire at an Oregon college, and 13 people are reported dead. A gunman opened fire at an Oregon community college today, killing at least a dozen people before dying during a shootout with police, authorities said. The shooting happened at Umpqua, a community college in Roseburg, about 180 miles south of Portland. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum said 13 people are dead. It was not immediately clear whether that number also included the 20-year-old gunman. State Police Lieutenant Bill Fugate told KATU-TV that at least 20 others were hurt. Authorities offered no immediate word on the gunman's motive and said they were investigating. Douglas County Sheriff John Hanlon said the gunman was killed in an exchange of gunfire with officers. The sheriff did not say whether the shooter was killed by officers or took his own life. We locked our door, and I went out to lock up the restrooms and would hear 4 shots from the front of the campus, UCC Foundation Executive Director Dennis O'Neill told the Roseburg News Review. A photographer for the newspaper said he saw people being loaded into multiple ambulances and taken to the local hospital. The school has about 3,000 students. Its website was down today, and a phone message left at the college was not immediately returned. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to talk some more about what's in the news. We'll talk some more about the latest high schools offer support after the Oregon.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And here's the latest. High schools are offering support after that Oregon shooting. The latest on the deadly shooting today at a community college in Oregon is and I'm going to give it to you all in local time, okay? That's the Pacific time. At 3 p.m., officials at high schools in and around in Oregon City where a mass shooting took place say they're preparing to support people affected by the killings. Sutherland High School principal Justin Huntley says his school has counselors available to students after the deadly rampage today at Umpqua Community College in Roseburg. Sutherland is about 13 miles north of that city. Authorities say a 20-year-old gunman killed 13 people and injured at least 20 at the college campus. Roseburg Public Schools Superintendent Jerry Washburn says a large number of Roseburg High School students go straight to Umpqua Community College after graduation. It's a small, tight community, and there is no doubt that we will have staff and students that have family and friends impacted by this event. Washburn said, "We're just trying to get ready to support them." Well, here. Isn't it when you have tragedies like this that we all kind of get together to support the people that we care about in our communities, even the ones we don't care about in our communities, I suppose? Well, here's one for you. Russia defends its military action in Syria. Russian air warplanes carried out a second wave of airstrikes today in Syria. Moscow defended its military involvement against Western criticism of its intentions, saying it sees eye to eye with the U.S.-led coalition campaign on its targets in the country. The claim of agreement with Washington came amid conflicting reports about Russia's intentions in Syria and whether it's targeting only Islamic State and al-Qaeda-linked militants. The U.S. and its allies fear that Russia, which has backed the family of President Bashar Assad since the current leader's father was in power, is using the air campaign as a pretext to go after anti-Assad rebels that include CIA-backed groups. Russian jets appeared to be primarily bombing central and northwestern Syria, strategic regions that are the gateway to Assad strongholds in the capital of Damascus and to the coast. Warplanes hit locations of a U.S.-backed rebel group, Tajamu Alizah, in the central province of Hama, said the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. It added that Tajamu Alizah also was targeted a day earlier. Well, you know what? I've got a feeling things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. We're going to have, I think, another Cold War with Russia. I wish, and I'll probably talk to John Matthews a little bit later about it. Aren't you getting a little tired about the United States being a little wishy-washy about what we do and who we defend and how we do it and who we let push us around? That's kind of the feeling I'm getting right now. Well, Russia confounds the United States with Syria military moves. Now, 1,506 days since the Obama administration first declared that Syrian President Bashar Assad's days are numbered, he's still there. And a convergence of Western trepidation in Russian resolve could strengthen his position further. But it also could set the stage for a long-sought political transition leading to the end of the Assad family's 45-year rule. In either case, Assad's Russian and Iranian backers could arguably claim victory. But there's also a painful third possibility. Russia's decision to intervene with airstrikes this week could just prolong and exacerbate an already brutal conflict that has spawned the largest refugee crisis since World War II and helped the rise of the radical Islamic State group that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says aims to establish a caliphate from Portugal to Pakistan. The Obama administration has been criticized first for a hesitating response to the civil war over the past 4 years and now for its hesitance to take a firm position on Russia's moves. I'm telling you, it sounded pretty dangerous to me, isn't it to you? Well, Afghan troops push into the city of Kunduz. Taliban is in retreat. Government troops seize control of the strategic northern city of Kunduz today. The Afghan president announced following a 6-hour battle that saw the Taliban insurgents who had led it for 3 days largely melt away. Despite the claim of victory, residents hunkered down inside their homes said they could still hear explosions and shootings in the provincial capital, whose fall to the Taliban was a humbling defeat for President Ashraf Ghani, and raised questions over whether the United States trained military was capable of defending the country now that most coalition forces have withdrawn. Intense fighting is continuing in the streets of the city, said Zabihullah, speaking by phone from his home near the main city square. The situation is really critical and getting worse, and I've just heard a huge explosion from a bomb near my house. You know what? It just gets worse. It doesn't get better. Nothing seems to get better. And then just about the time that you get frustrated, guess what? The United Nations spotlight on the Middle East crisis. Netanyahu blasts Iran deal. In an impassioned speech interspersed with bouts of dramatic silence, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today condemned the Iran nuclear deal as empowering Tehran to spread unrest in the Middle East, or Mideast, I should say, while leaving the country capable of making an atomic bomb. Netanyahu described Israeli-U.S. bickering over the deal as a disagreement within the family, and the United States also downplayed any lasting effects of the fallout over an agreement that Washington praises and Israel condemns. The Israeli leader's speech to the world leaders at the UN General Assembly was notable for his rhetorical flourishes, including 47 seconds of silence about 15 minutes into his address. Netanyahu insisted the nuclear agreement lets Iran support terrorism in the Mideast and bolsters its plan to liquidate the Jewish state. He said the UN and most governments have responded to Iran's intent to destroy Israel with deafening silence and then stopped speaking to emphasize his point, glowering at hushed delegates before finally resuming his speech. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to talk about the IRS loses. In first case up, the IRS must pay a refund to a non-filer. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know, this part of the show just sends chills up and down my spine, gets me excited, like I could, I just can't even describe the excitement I get. So let me get right into it instead of wasting any more time. First case up, the IRS must pay a refund to a non-filer. Let me tell you about it. Michael Zarkey didn't file a tax return for 1999, and when the IRS realized this almost 3 years later, it sent him a tax bill. But it turned out that Zarkey had overpaid his taxes by $270, and he sought a refund. The IRS objection? A person who hasn't filed a return can obtain a refund only of taxes paid during the prior 2 years. As more than 2 years had passed since this payment, Zarkey was not entitled to a refund. So Zarkey, guess what? Went to the tax court. This is what the judge said. That is the general rule, but the IRS can send a deficiency notice to collect a tax bill up to 3 years back, and when it does so, taxpayer gets the same time limit for the refund claim. So Zarkey's refund is allowed. I mean, don't you? It's just common sense. That's what it is to me, anyway. Let me give you one more. An estate avoids undervaluation penalties when both sides' experts were actually wrong. Let me tell you about it. When a woman died, her shares in a private company were valued by the IRS at $32.4 million and by her estate at $1.75 million. Now, finding the difference startling, the court valued the shares at $13.5 million. The IRS then sought to impose undervaluation penalties on the estate. So they went back to court, and this is what the judge said. When assets are undervalued by more than $25,000, by more than 25%, a penalty of 40% normally applies. Now, here, the undervaluation was 87%. But this valuation was difficult. Both sides made errors, and the estate's valuation was much closer to the court's than was the IRS's. This gives sufficient cause to lift the penalty, which they did. 40%, guys. That saves them somewhere around $6 million in taxes. Not a bad deal. How about this? Here's one where the IRS kind of split the difference. A spouse is innocent for only 1 of 3 years. Let me tell you about it. Andrea Vukstas husband earned the family's income and underpaid his taxes for 3 years. He also made a bankruptcy filing in which the general debts, but not his tax debts, were extinguished. Now, after that, he died, and the IRS tried to collect from Andrea the tax that he still owed on the couple's joint returns. She claimed innocent spouse relief, saying she hadn't known about tax underpayments. She went to court. This is what the judge said. Andrea didn't know of the underpayment for the first year when its return was filed, so she gets relief for that year. But she had to know of the taxes due for the other 2 years because the bankruptcy case, and so she does not qualify for innocent spouse on those 2 years. You know what? And that's exactly what you would expect to have take place. You can't have it both ways, guys. Now, you heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. That's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Now, this is not precedent set by the IRS, but this is stuff that you can use to your benefit. Should you have to be dealing with the IRS, they've already set the precedent and you can use this against them. So let's talk about being a fly inside the IRS. Okay, so let's get right to it. I've got one case here for you that I want to talk to you about, and it's all about negotiating an installment agreement. And this is really important stuff, guys. So it's not uncommon for certain taxpayers earning six-figure salaries to owe the IRS more money than they'll ever be able to repay. And here's some common causes. Personal liability for unpaid payroll taxes of a business, years of not filing income tax returns, or not paying the tax reflected on tax returns that were already filed. When taxpayers enter negotiations to pay their tax debt in installments, the IRS will generally allow them living expenses in excess of official guidelines, which are very modest, for a period of about 1 year. Now, taxpayers should use this year to cut back on all but the most essential expenses. They could, hang on one second here. I've got to get, there we go. Got this ticket. Okay, so they should cut out all the lavish expenditures for such things as vacations, clothing, country club dues, and concentrate on making sure that college tuition and mortgage payments are made, even prepaid sometimes. Here's the reason. After the 1 year period expires, the IRS is going to expect that most of what a taxpayer earns after the current year's income taxes have been paid goes to the IRS. You can bet on that one. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Sean Lefebvre and his Geared for Wellness group. And I know he's got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 88 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, my good buddy Sean LaFay is waiting in the wings, and I can't wait to talk to him. So let me give him a good introduction, and then we'll bring him right on the line.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean LaFay, is geared for wellness.
Sean, welcome aboard. Good to have you here. It seems like I just talked to you a day or so ago.
I know. Two days in the same week again. It seems like it's been a long time since you had 2 days in 1 week. It's good to be back again today. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing good. Things are going well. We actually got started a little bit late today. I don't know what the heck it is. It's got to be my fat stubby fingers or something hitting wrong buttons. But we got it all worked out and everything is working good. We're having a good show, and gosh, we couldn't have a better guest than the one I'm talking to right now.
Well, thanks. I couldn't have a better host than the one I'm talking to right now. So,
well, thank you. You know what? Actually, it's a misnomer. I keep calling you a guest, and everybody just that comes into the show in this time slot, I call them a guest. And the truth is, you're a contributor to the show, and I need to change that the way I do that thing. Besides,
the way I look at it, as long as I'm a guest, I don't have to clean up the dishes after dinner. You know what I'm saying? So you can keep calling me a guest. I'm good with being a guest.
Well, you know what? I don't
work for me.
I don't mind cleaning up the dishes because the nice part about it is I've got a dishwasher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So listen, boy, got a lot of stuff going in the news. Before we get started on what I know you have prepared, this Oregon University thing is this Chappaqua University. Gosh, what's going to happen? Have you noticed that when we have all these school shootings and all these things around the country going on, that they take place in rural areas? They don't take place in big cities so much. They take place in
I was noticing the same thing. I'm like, it's not the inner city kids that are doing this. So you're right. It's the suburbia is where all this is going on, and that's really an interesting dynamic. And I totally agree with you. I noticed it, but I didn't really think much about it. But you're right. And I don't know if it's because I know that for some reason, our mainstream media and our government and everyone else just kind of wants to sweep this portion of these shootings under the rug every single time. But these young, whether you want to call them kids, young men, or whatever that are doing this, they're the vast, almost every single one of them. It's like literally all of them that have happened in the last 25 years have been. With the exception of like one or two, they've been on psychotropic drugs, and maybe it's because the drugs that they put these kids on, are more popular in the rural areas. Maybe the inner city, they just don't have the availability, or excuse me, or what the deal is. But you're right, it's suburbia. It's not out in the country, and it's not in the middle of the big city either. And I really don't know what caused that.
The other thing that I was very disturbed about since yesterday, actually, since we got word that Russia decided to start bombing Syria, and it appears they're bombing the wrong people. It seems like we're jumping right back into a Cold War, Sean, and it also disturbs me that, once again, Obama's being tested, and I think he's going to fail this test.
Yeah, I agree. I think he is going to fail the test. You know what? This is the interesting part about what's going on right now is, back when we actually had a Cold War and we were comparing Reagan or we were comparing whoever the president was at the time to the Soviet president, who's, of course, now it's just Russia, it's not the Soviet Union. But, we always held our leader in higher esteem. He was the champion. He was the one that was doing the right thing. And even the American people, you can look at these memes, you can look at these articles, and everyone's saying, look at Putin compared to Obama. They're saying, what, he's more manly, he's tougher, he's more, of a politician, a smart politician. Yeah. Like we as Americans in general seem to be holding Putin on a higher pedestal than we're holding our own president. And frankly, that kind of, it's a scary notion, but let me ask you this, Sean, and I'm going to tell you how I feel, but please don't agree with me just to agree with me. I want you to give me your own honest feelings, because if we disagree, then that's fine. That's what the world is all about. I love this country, and I love our government, and I love the feeling that I've always had that we're the guys on the white horse, and we're the guys that have the ethics and the morals, and we're the guys that are strong, that defend the weak. And I've always felt like we would not let anybody push us around or smack us in the face and get away with it. I no longer am feeling that way. I'm getting tired of being pushed around. I don't want war. I want peace. But I don't want to be pushed around by some third-rate country that is just testing the leadership of my country. And I'm tired of seeing the rest of the world intimidated by bullies. I absolutely agree. And whether, for no other reason than I absolutely agree with you. And I think that, previous presidents would not have tolerated the things that Obama is tolerating. And quite frankly, sometimes it seems like he's ignoring. He's done some things, he definitely went out. I won't say he went out, but, it was in his administration that we got Obama and not Obama, Obama. We got Osama bin Laden. That was not intentional.
I think that was a Freudian slip. You absolutely, same thing as Kevin McCarthy did yesterday, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we got Osama bin Laden, but so I'm not saying he's done all that, but I agree. He just is. When it comes to times, everything from the violence toward police to what's going on in the Middle East, everything going back to, him looking at ISIS and saying, oh, they're just a JV guys. They're not so JV anymore. They got professional gear.
Well, explain to me, and I don't expect you to explain it to me because I don't think there's any explanation for this. Another thing I do not understand, maybe you do. If you do, then you're a whole lot smarter than me. When you talk about ISIS, there are only about 20 or 30,000 ISIS members. I am having a tough time understanding how it is a country with the strength and size of the United States or Great Britain or Afghanistan, any of them. I'm having a tough time figuring out how 20 or 30,000 guys can take control of everything.
Yeah, it goes back to fear and intimidation, and look at even the Communist Party, in the Soviet Union. Most of the people there were not communists. So in fact, I would guess that in all of the Soviet Union, the number of people who belong to the Communist Party were probably in the tens of thousands, maybe 100,000+. I don't think it was that big of a number. And so, you've got them ruling through fear and intimidation in their area, but they're really hard to get out because they're not, they don't have a Congress that gathers together in one building where we can just drop a bomb and kill them. It's very guerrilla style.
Oh, wait a minute. Now there's an idea.
Yeah, there is an idea.
There's an idea. I'm glad it didn't come out of my mouth, but now there's an idea.
Yeah, there is an idea.
Start all over again. That makes some sense.
Right, it makes perfectly good sense. That's exactly what I said, but we'll go with that.
So let me.
But it's hard to stop these guys because they're look how long it took for us to find Osama bin Laden, one guy, and he was camped out and he was going home apparently, so it's even Barack, geez man, why I keep going back to him? Hussein.
I'm telling you.
I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. Saddam Hussein, again, one of those Hussein, you got too many similar names. Saddam Hussein, even look how long it took us to find him. He was the president of Iraq, in a organized government. So, these guys are controlling because they have, first of all, they got Hillary Clinton on their side, so let's just go with that one.
Yeah.
But, and Barack Obama for all I can tell sometimes. But, it blows my mind that, our government really does seem to be dropping the ball when it comes to what's going on over there, we know that I swear sometimes I think maybe they don't want to win. You look at what's going on with Hillary Clinton, they just found another, 200 or something like that, classified emails on her server. And
it was over 200, I think, that I saw reported. But you know what? It does let me move you into another area, because I've sort of kind of led you into this gated area, and I'm about ready to slam the gate shut. And here's the thing. We've got about 4 minutes for you to answer to this, and that is if our administration is so wishy-washy, and it appears to be that way, and if they're not going to defend the citizens of this country, and it seems to be that way unless we actually get directly bombed or something, could it be possible that I should consider the fact that perhaps it's this administration that is keeping the FDA from producing the necessary medications for people that are catastrophically and morbidly ill from getting the medications that they need, regardless of the price?
Is it possible that they could prevent?
Is it possible that this administration has put a lid on all that stuff and is not letting it go on? Because I don't understand giving someone who has a death sentence, not giving someone who has a death sentence anything they want that might give them some mental peace of mind knowing they've tried everything to resolve their issues.
That's a tough question. I don't know that I can answer that one, but I don't know that. Obviously, the FDA, our administration in general controls so much of everything that I suppose it's possible, but, I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer for that one.
So maybe you can answer this for me. Does the FDA have any control over the, what the heck is it? Our regular food stuff, the Food and Drug Administration. No, that is the FDA.
Food and Drug Administration, right? Do they have control over what?
The FDA is handling the drugs, right? Who's handling the food?
Yeah, same organization.
Same organization.
They're telling us, what qualifies as organic. So the same guys that are demanding that we not know what's in the food that we eat or have any control over how it's prepared, are the same guys that are saying that these drugs that our citizens can go to other countries and get that give them some relief are not going to be available here. Who is putting the lid on that stuff? Is it the administration or is it the executives within the FDA? I would have to say it would be the FDA itself, or the top brass, whatever, in the FDA. Because there are drugs that are approved in other countries that are not approved in the United States, whether it's because they don't feel that they're safe and effective, or it's because they just haven't gone through all the red tape yet, which is probably more so the case, especially when you look at some of the drugs that are available that have actually done some good stuff. Of course, me, I'm like so much into really using medications as almost a last resort, except for like emergency stuff. Like if I get hit by a truck, please give me morphine. But outside of that, I'm always about what's the more natural. But even that said, looking at relatively speaking, some of these medications out there, there's some things going on in Europe that rival what we do here, and they're not allowed in this country yet. And there's a Are you aware
Are you aware of any instances where there's really not any reasonable justification for withholding the release of medications to catastrophically ill patients here in the United States?
No, I haven't seen them withhold it if it's something that's already been FDA approved now.
Well, no, but I'm talking about stuff that's not FDA approved.
It's not, that's that. And I can't give you any specifics. I can't think of the names of any of the drugs. But I've read articles about stuff that's approved in other countries, whether it's in Asia or it's in Europe or wherever it might be, and the drugs seem to be effective and they seem to be doing a good job, and they just won't release them here, whether it's whether it's a red tape issue or if it's because our FDA just says, well, it's got to go through our own trials, or which is really weird because the FDA doesn't really, they don't run any trials. That's kind of the thing that a lot of people
right. Well, now hold that thought. I want you to leave me with a cliffhanger because we're about 20 seconds over time for our commercial.
Well, gosh, I don't know that I have a cliffhanger, but...
Okay, here's the cliffhanger. When we come back, you're going to take a different position with regard to the FDA, and you're going to tell me why you have that position, and hopefully you and I will have a meeting of the minds. We'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave with his Geared for Wellness group.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Now, for you folks that are going to be leaving us in the next 8 minutes or so, you're with 405 Media Radio, and we're sorry to lose you after just 1 hour of the show. Go to your Android spot, or go to your googleplay.com and just search Robert Cardoza Live, or go to your Apple store and search Robert Cardoza Live, and our new app is right there. You can download that, and you can listen to all of our archives, all the things that you've missed, the 1 hour of our show that you missed, or you can listen to us live right there. Certainly appreciate you listening to us through the 405 Media Radio network, and want you to continue doing that. But if you're missing that 1 hour, either tell your program administrator that you want the whole show, or listen to our archives to pick up the second part. Now, we're talking to our own Sean LaFave with his Geared for Wellness group. And so, Sean, anything controversial about the FDA? Let's talk about GMOs.
So I heard the part about the FDA. What was the very last part of that?
Let's talk about GMOs.
Oh, FDA and GMOs. Speaking of Putin, he banned GMOs in Russia. I don't know if you knew that or not. I don't know if we ever talked about that.
No, but you know what? And I was just talking nasty about those people. I guess they can do some things right, huh?
He does a few things right. There are some things he really does right, but that's one of them. But yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in the FDA, and for a lot of reasons, GMO is one of them. It's like I can't remember where I saw the saying, but someone says, just remember that every single drug that ever killed anybody was first FDA approved, and vitamins are not, although they've never killed anybody. But I'm just not a big fan of the FDA in general. I think that they probably could serve a really good purpose, but I just don't think they are. And how we can let GMOs. I know we talked last year about the act that President Obama signed into legislation that they called it the Monsanto Protection Act, that they basically said that if at any point in the future they determined that GMOs, or the production of GMOs, including the pesticides and everything that goes along with them, the genetically modified DNA structure of the food itself, if any of it causes any physical harm, or I guess emotional harm as well, but any harm to people in the United States, that Monsanto is 100% protected from any type of prosecution against that. And I just don't understand how we can have an administration that would do that. The Food and Drug Administration, you would hope, would be there to protect you and ensure that the food that you're getting is the best for your bodies. And I just really don't think that that's what's happening. I think that the FDA has been bought out just as much as the vast majority of politicians have.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to ask you, to what extent do you really believe, Sean, that they've just been bribed, they've been bought out, and that's the only reasonable answer you can come up with.
It is the only reasonable explanation at all, is that why else would an organization that is supposed to be protecting people and ensuring that they have good quality food, good quality medications, and so on, allow things, everything from mercury being used in amalgam fillings to GMOs. In fact, you know what? I think they just classified glyphosate, Roundup, the stuff that Monsanto has produced. They actually just classified it as a carcinogen. I just saw that. It was like last week or something like that.
Oh, gee.
So like, okay, well, what are you going to do with that? You're still going to allow them to use it, but just so you know, they're going to use it, but it's going to cause cancer as well.
Well, until it kills, 10 or 15 Canadian rats, they're not going to take it off the market. You know that, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. It's got to kill a bunch of rats, or it's got to kill some little rodent somewhere in Oregon or what. Until it starts killing people, fuzzy animals, they're not really going to do anything.
Well, no, I mean, here's the point that I'm trying to make is that, the people come down later in the test. The rats come first. So the fact that people are going to die is of no consequence until these rats die.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the problem is that, you're not going to see people. You'll see the little animals dying quickly because they're like the canary in the cage, the canary in the coal mine. I mean, but people. What's going to happen to us is we're just going to get sicker and sicker, and we're going to die really, really slow. It's going to take decades, for people to die off from what's happening with these GMOs. And I can tell you, something as simple as bread and everything that we've done with it, that's brominated and the way it's been processed and the wheat's been sprayed with all these pesticides. When I go to Europe or Asia, I go to other parts of the world and I eat bread, I feel great when I eat the bread. I eat the bread and I go, wow, that was delicious, and I feel really good and I had a satisfying meal. Bread here in the United States, it just weighs me down, and I stay away from bread. There are very few times that I'll eat bread here in the United States, and just in general, I stay away from it because the way we process it in this country is so much different.
It's interesting. It's interesting you'd say that because the way I was raised, it was meat, potatoes, and bread, right? And you especially needed bread if you had gravies or soups, things to sop up with. But you're absolutely right, because when you have the ability to go to Europe and you eat some of the breads in the different countries that they have, the bread is just magnificent. It's just fantastic. You can eat it all day long.
Yeah, I can remember when I was in Turkey, there was this guy that would come around and he had his bicycle and his little basket on the front of the bicycle, and he sold these loaves of bread. And I used to literally buy a loaf of bread and eat the thing for breakfast. It was just
France, that's how most French people start their day off. They take a walk down to the local patisserie and they pick up a loaf or a baguette, I should say, of bread, and they take it back to their apartment or their home or wherever they're at, and their flat, and they'll eat that with cheese and just love it. And the truth is if you've done that and I've done that, that's a fantastic way to have breakfast, I want to say.
And it is a fantastic way to have breakfast. It's a fantastic way to live life. And there was a time even in the United States that we kind of lived like that. Definitely in Europe, but you would go. Remember when we were kids? They would have the bread, but then there was for the people who were on the budget, there was the day old bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they don't have day old bread anymore. The stuff lasts on the shelf for months.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Do you remember when I want to say it was, I don't know if it was Wonder Bread or Weber's Bread or what the heck kind of bread it was. They used to have these little shops, and all they sold was day old bread, right? And you'd get it it's tremendous discounts, and it was just as fresh as the bread you got the day before. It was just, it was really good. But apparently, I think it's the point you're trying to make, is they're using more harmful preservatives to make that bread last longer on the shelves today, so they don't have to cut the prices.
Right, and that's exactly it. It's all about shelf life. Yeah, and we've got so much preservatives in our food now that. It's of course the quintessential one of all that is the Twinkie. We talk about the Twinkie, but when the next one when World War III breaks out and we have nuclear warfare, but all that's left are cockroaches and Twinkies. But literally you can. And I did this in my office before. You can take a Twinkie, unwrap it, and you can set it on a plate, and it will not change. It'll dry out. And it'll still be kind of like almost a little mushy. It doesn't dry out real hard like bread does, but it dries out. But, Twinkie is basically bread with cream filling, but there are 39 ingredients required to make a Twinkie. And, and to make a loaf of bread, you need at the most, depending on what kind of bread you're making, 5 ingredients.
Yeah.
And so we've got all these, and these are all FDA approved to add to our food, all these chemical preservatives. And they're supposed to be safe for us, but it's one of those things that they build up over time, and that's the thing. The argument that a lot of people have with whether it's medications or food, they might take one thing on its own, they'll test it, and they'll go, it's overall safe. But how is it, when you take a preservative and you add hydrogenated oils, and then you add, artificial sweeteners, and then you're adding food coloring, and you've got all these different excitatory products built into it, all these excitotoxins and all these neurotoxins that are, and all of a sudden you get this blend of things that have never all been tested together. And so really, what is that doing to our body?
Okay, so that is where I need to stop you. I need to stop you right there, and I need to ask you a few directed questions. You willing for this?
Absolutely.
Okay. What is your favorite? Now, you live in Orange County. What's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, boy, in Orange County.
Anywhere.
Yeah. Anywhere?
Yeah,
anywhere in the world?
Anywhere in Southern California,
Anywhere in Southern California. Boy, you know what? Gosh, that's a tough one.
If you decided to go out for a nice dinner tonight, where would you go? Your first choice.
If money wasn't a factor, I would probably go to the Pelican Hill Resort, the Pelican Grill. I love that one a lot. That's where my son works, so I'm kind of
okay. So let's talk about the Pelican Grill. Now, do they have specialties at the Pelican Grill?
Of course.
And what kind of specialties do they have?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't go there enough to know.
Do they have a particular dish that they're known for, or is there a particular dish that when you go there that you're actually craving?
No. I don't think they have any one thing that they're specifically known for. They're definitely known. Their steaks are fantastic.
Okay, so when you go there, is that what you order? A steak?
Last time I was there, last time I think I was there was Mother's Day, but the time before that...
Well, I don't care when you were there. I want to know what you order generally when you go there.
Yeah, let's go with a steak.
Okay, so when you order a steak, do you order a baked potato, or do you order vegetables on the side? What do you order with that steak?
Yeah, I will sometimes get the mashed potatoes. Sometimes I get a baked potato.
Okay, now do you get regular mashed potatoes, or do you get garlic mashed potatoes?
Oh, garlic, of course.
Okay, and then when you get the mashed potatoes, do you get a vegetable also besides the starch?
Yeah, I love a good vegetable. I like, usually it's a vegetable medley they'll bring out. But yeah, I like vegetables too.
Okay, and what? Well, hang on, because I got to control the timing here. And what is the cut of steak that is your favorite steak? Do you like top sirloin, like porterhouse? You like ribeye? Do you like filet mignon? What do you like?
Yeah, when I go out, I usually get a filet mignon because I don't like to eat a really big steak, but I like a really just fantastic, tender, delicious steak.
Okay, so you want it lean and you want it tender.
Yep.
Okay, so when you get a filet mignon, because filet mignons really they are lean and they are tender, but they don't have much taste. Do you get a sauce to eat with it?
Nope. I like them cooked rare, super rare, and I don't like to dip them in anything. I don't like to put any sauce on them. I like the flavor. I think the flavor is nice. It's mild. I mean, that's all I like about it is it's a nice, mild flavor. It's not real strong.
Okay, so is that conducive to a man who likes to eat healthy? And you got 15 seconds, and I've got to go off the air.
I think it is, absolutely, because everything that I ordered there was a whole food. None of it was processed in any way.
Now we're talking. So next time that we have you on, which is going to be Tuesday, I want to talk about a menu for you and a menu for me, and we'll talk about how those things are prepared. How's that sound?
That sounds fantastic.
All right, my friend. Listen, great show. I thank you so very much. You have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay happy. Make everybody you touch a little better for it, will you?
All right, I will do. Thanks, Robert. I had a great time today.
All right, take care. Now, when we come back, we're going to be with my good buddy John Matthews and his series, The Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, They're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:07 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, my good buddy John Matthews is waiting in the wings, so let me get his introduction in here and get him in here. We got lots to talk about.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. John Matthews.
Hey, John, welcome aboard, my buddy. I know you had some trouble getting through to me, but you know what it is? It's because I'm old, and when I'm looking down at the board, I can't see that the doggone thing is ringing through. So it's not your fault. It's my fault. I apologize to you.
Not a big deal, man. I'm used to little elves that run around and try to
You know, that's because you and I both use the same system, and you're having nothing but compassion for me while you're trying to get through, right?
Well, that's because I need my own fair share of compassion. So
hey, listen, while I've got you on it right at the beginning here, I want to tell the folks that all week this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, on John's show, The Conservative Syndicate, and you can go to all of his archives at theconservativesyndicate.net and just go to his archives. He's been talking about the parenthood issues, and one of the things that you need to do is to listen to all three of those shows. He has gone in depth answering everything with regard to the parenthood issue that was going on. So I encourage everybody to go to John's website at theconservativesyndicate.net, go to the archive for this last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and hear an in-depth analysis of the truth about what's going on in Planned Parenthood. You'll be glad that you did that. Now, having said that, John, I want to ask you something different. I am getting scared to death. I'm getting depressed. I'm getting, I don't want a war. I want peace, but I'm getting tired of being pushed around. I'm getting tired of being intimidated. I'm getting tired of being the bottom guy on the block. I'm getting tired of being embarrassed at the non-action of our government, and I'm getting really scared that we're going to enter into another Cold War that our administration has no intentions of winning.
Well, I think if we're really, really honest about what's going on right now, we're already back in the Cold War. It's just that nobody's actually declared it yet. I was looking at some stuff on the, I seldom go to mainstream media to look at the news on TV. I very seldom look at network news. And I was looking at it this morning because I was hearing all this stuff about Russia bombing over in Syria and stuff. This is beyond scary at this point. This is putting us in a position. This is something that has been. Russia would never have attempted to do some of the things that they've done had we had anybody in office that had any understanding of foreign policy, the geopolitical spectrum and everything else. Putin is just basically doing whatever he feels like doing because he knows Obama isn't going to do anything about it. Obama will talk, he'll rant, he'll threaten. But when it actually comes down to actually doing something, this president just is, I don't know, for some reason, just hell-bent on not doing anything, fear of looking like we're occupying or something. I'm not really sure of the entire mindset behind it, other than the fact that even as far back as his college days, he seemed to think he was the one that was going to disarm the world of nuclear armament, stuff like that. So this man is lost in his ideology, just completely lost. I can't remember ever feeling as fearful having somebody like this in the White House since the days of Nixon. Nixon, I always thought was kind of a sociopath, psychopathic.
Say, hey, John, I don't know what if you're using your headphones or what you're using, but your every other sentence seems to be drifting away and a little tinny. Can you move a little closer to your microphone?
Well, I'm on my phone right now.
That's much better. That's much better.
Is that any better? Okay, all right. Anyways, as I'm saying, I haven't felt this fearful about our nation in terms of war, major escalation to, other than the Middle East. I mean, the Middle East is an irritation. But when we start involving other countries, when you've got Russia arming Syria and stuff, I haven't felt this bad about a president since Richard Nixon. And these two have I would imagine they have a very close psychological profile. They're narcissists in some ways. Obama governs through his narcissism. Nixon governed through his psychosis. And it's scary. It's really scary. I'm holding my breath right now, wondering what this is going to do.
Well, I mean, John, if you think about it, I mean, look at what Putin did with the invasion in the Ukraine, and now he's sticking his nose into Syria, supposedly to support us, but he's not supporting us. He's supporting Assad. And how long is it going to be before he starts sticking his nose into our government?
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, if you even listen to Putin's defense of what he's doing, and his defense is what? He's protecting Christians. Now there you're getting kind of scary. You've got the socialist regime claiming to be protecting the Christians that our own government won't protect while we bring in Syrian refugees.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing is become upside down. Backwards kind of thing, and here we are sitting here wondering. I'm wondering what's going to happen now. Obama's already, he's the kind of guy that we're not going to put boots on the ground. Although we have boots on the ground, what he's saying is he doesn't want to put military forces over there for military purposes. And now he's painted himself into a corner again. He's painted another red line.
Yeah.
And Putin is just saying, "Hey, I'm just going to see if you're a man of your word." So I'm really kind of spooked right now. I'm not really sure how this is going to go.
Well, I'm spooked too because you know what? I have yet to see Obama really, draw a line across the sand and stick to it. He's never done it that I know of.
Well, we're going to have to hold our breath and see what kind of leadership from behind we're going to get this time. And I'm sure a lot of this is going to be. We're going to hear all this rhetoric, and we're going to hear all this tough talk and everything else. And in the meantime, who knows what's going to happen over there? Syria may become a bigger dust ball than it already is.
Oh, yeah. And every president, I remember, the ones that I remember is certainly, when Kennedy won after Eisenhower did his last term, Kennedy was put to the test by Khrushchev. And every president has been put to the test by Russia, every single one of them. And this particular president is losing the test. What we need is another president like Reagan that is going to not falter at the beginning, just right from the very get-go say, hey, don't push me around, buddy, because I don't push.
Yeah, I think as much as I hate to admit this, the president that was the best at handling this kind of stuff was actually George W. Bush.
Yeah.
He was, he just said, hey, he was, as Dennis Miller said, the difference between, during that election cycle between George W. Bush and John Kerry, Miller once made the analogy that John Kerry was a chess player and George Bush was a checkers player. And the difference being is that Kerry always calculated every single move, and therefore that was dangerous, whereas George Bush, if he saw the opportunity, jumped.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And that's what we really need when we're dealing with policies like this, is we need somebody to just, okay, enough is enough, let's go, let's do it.
Well, and you're absolutely right. We need a president there that when somebody's thinking about doing something, they're going to say, whoops, maybe not right now. Maybe if somebody else is sitting in that Oval Office, I'll give this a try, but not with this guy.
Yeah, and God help us if we end up with somebody like a Hillary Clinton in there.
Oh,
who,
well, I think you and I are already in agreement. We might as well just keep the guy we got if we're going to get Hillary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're talking about a woman who now tells us that she doesn't even know how email accounts work. So.
Yeah, it's just, politics is getting to be one stupid game after another for non-intellectuals. Do these people in Washington, D.C. really believe that the general public is going to let them pull this wool over our eyes and that we're going to accept everything they say as fact?
Well, they have gotten away with it for at least 2 decades now. Yeah. So I think the idea or the thinking is right now is we were talking about, part of what we were talking about yesterday, is the fact that what we have is especially in the GOP leadership, is you're talking about people who have come to the conclusion that newly elected people to Congress don't know what they're doing, and citizens don't understand the process. So they basically have concluded within their own minds that we're all too stupid, dumb, and ignorant to know what to do, so we're going to do whatever we feel we're going to do. We don't care anymore about what our constituents want. And I think that's more than obvious, and that is a real dangerous thing, because truth be told, they're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've allowed this to happen, and so we are reaping what we have sown. So it's just...
You're absolutely right. We got to go to a commercial break, John. I want to remind everybody that they can listen to my good buddy John on the conservativesyndicate.net Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's Monday through Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 8 to 9 or 8 to 10. 8 to 9 p.m. On the East Coast. Now I got that same problem that you had yesterday, John. And if you want to listen to a knowledgeable man who is objective, who really knows how to dig in and analyze, my good buddy John Matthews is the guy. It's the conservativesyndicate.net Monday through Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be right back with John talking more about politics right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy John Matthews with the Conservative Syndicate, and you can listen to my friend John Monday through Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. And if you want to get the truth about conservative politics and the truth about what's happening in politics today, you need to listen to his show. You may or may not agree with him. You don't have to, but I'll tell you one thing. He'll give you facts that make you think, and I think that's what's really important in today's world. I'm on John's show once a week, and you know what? John and I don't always agree, but he always respects my position and is objective about what we have to say. Having said that, hey, John, you got the microphone, my friend.
Well, I'm just sitting here watching the latest circus come to town here, the shooting up in Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
And Barack Obama is already out politicizing it, selling this as just another event that Americans have just become numb to, and we need gun control and everything else. And I'm always amazed at how opportunistic this guy is. You know, never let a good crisis go to waste. And he's even out here, you know, telling everybody, yeah, I know you all are going to say that I'm politicizing this, and it needs to be politicized. We need gun laws and this, that, and the other. And every time I see this, every time we have something like a campus shooting, especially campus shootings, he's out here trying to disarm America with it. I'm just curious as to why every time a cop is executed, we don't hear anything. From the White House.
Yeah, the thing I was inquisitive about, I had actually talked about it earlier today, and do you ever notice, John, that the majority of these shootings, these mass shootings that go on like this, and generally with people that are disturbed in one way or another, they're taking place in rural communities, not in major communities, and it makes you wonder what the heck is going on in the minds of these of these people, I should say, because, what's causing this to happen that's not really happening in the big cities? It's happening in rural cities.
Yeah, the urban centers have their own problem. You know, we've had over 44 shootings in Chicago in the last month. We've not heard anything from the White House about Chicago because that's Rahm Emanuel's turf. We don't want to bring that to the forefront.
It's also business as usual. It's business as usual in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, they have the most gun control laws of any city in the country outside of Washington, D.C., and yet these two are the biggest, have the highest murder rates with guns, guns being the weapon of choice here. Yeah. But it is indicative here that I've always believed that the agenda of somebody like Barack Obama is to disarm citizens, because there can be no uprising, there can be no defense, there can be no militias, there can be no way of stopping the government from doing whatever they wanted to do. And the argument that the left always presents about gun control is in of itself a very lame argument, because the purpose of the Second Amendment was to keep citizens armed against government. It wasn't to hunt, it wasn't to collect guns, it wasn't to target practice. It was to be able to, guard ourselves and defend ourselves against tyranny.
Yeah.
So I'm always amazed. I'm always amused. I'm amused. But I'm wondering here, one of the things that I heard right off the top here is that this particular gunman was asking people what their religion was before he shot them.
Oh, is that right? I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what kind of noise is going to be if we find out this is a Muslim.
Oh, yeah.
And, if it's somebody who's a Christian, of course, it'll be, full bore, balls to the wall, let's burn down the churches and take away all their guns. But if it's a Muslim or some other religious faction, I bet you all of a sudden everybody's going to become really quiet about it. And, so we'll have to see what's happening. I mean, it's just that Obama has a tendency to come out and jump on these stories without really even knowing what's going on. It's just, there's another shooting. We got to do something about it. This has gone on too long. America's become numb to it. Call your congressman, and this, that, and the other. And not, in most cases, we find out that the circumstances behind it is other than what they want us to believe. And that is that there's a bunch of white people out there, pissed off Christians, clinging to their guns religion to want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
But the remark you made is something that I'm going to have to look at here. I had not thought of that. The idea that a lot of these are happening on college campuses.
Yeah.
This is Obama's demographic. This is his people. This is his next generation. And it kind of makes you wonder. I was reading one one of the shrinks out there, kicked out a real quick article today about what causes somebody to do something like that. And she was stating that in most mass shootings, there's an issue of shame involved, that the person that is committing the crime has reached some level of shame. And in some ways, I guess we could equate that to low self-esteem or whatever. And the shame becomes so great that they have to find somebody to lash out at. And so I'm thinking, all these college kids are going to college and you're supposed to be getting all this great education, and the government's giving it to you, and hey, we'll forfeit your loans if you work for the government, this, that, and the other. And these kids are becoming just like they're turning into gang members. I mean, going out and liquidating people for no reason.
Oh yeah,
it'd be interesting to find out why.
Yeah,
if they could.
Yeah. I mean, just I don't know. It just seems like the world that I grew up in was so much safer, and there was so much less crime, so much less. You just felt better about it. It was a more wholesome world than what we live in today. Today, I remember when I was in high school, maybe even my early months in college, but certainly in high school. You got into an argument with somebody, you got into a fight with them, you wanted to beat them up, but you didn't want to kill them. You just, at the end of it, you usually had your arms around each other and you were good buddies again. Today, they don't even want to fight with you. They just want to kill you.
Well, it's because over the years we have allowed our government to legislate immorality across the board. I mean, I did a show one time on this, and we traced the history of this. Starts from taking God out of schools, then it started to legalizing divorce, then it was legalizing abortion, now it's legalizing homosexuality. And these things, although they're not connected with somebody picking up a gun and killing somebody, the idea here is that what we've done is we've legislated immorality, which takes away a person's moral gauge. Their moral compass is skewed, it's warped. Yeah. And so the idea of you've hurt my feelings, and let's take care of that. Let's duke it out or something like that, or let's talk it out or whatever. Now it's just, let me go get a gun and blow your head off. Yeah. And then when we turn around and something like that happens, and when we see it happen in society, it's the perpetrator is the one that becomes the victim. Yes. They're doing it for a reason. They're being people aren't intolerant of who they are, or people don't understand, and they're putting them down. And so they're just responding, and so it's the shooter that becomes the victim. And I guarantee you that will be the case here, unless, of course, he's a Muslim.
Yeah.
And then it will probably be religious intolerance.
Yes.
We're persecuting the Muslims over here. So now they're taking it into their own hands. But, so it's this complete reversal of what we used to, when you and I were younger and when we were kids growing up, what good was and what evil was, and what was moral and what was immoral. Kids today don't have that compass because they're being told at 5 years old, choose whatever sex you want to be. You know, they're being told that you as a child, you have child rights. We're not allowed to discipline our children anymore because the corporal punishment is child abuse. I'm thinking, all these things have been reversed, and it's all because of a political agenda. It's trying to pander through the legislating of immorality. Give everybody what they want. Let the mob rule Rome, and everything will fall into its place. And then, obviously, history shows that never works. So once your moral compass is gone, you have no way of internalizing the difference between right and wrong, and anything is game. And then I think that's what we're dealing with today. And schools certainly today don't teach right from wrong. Not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Everything is relative now, and that is the problem. That is the challenge. You read things like the Communist Manifesto and Lenin and people like that, and they all said the same thing. Lincoln even said it. Give me one generation. Give me the schools for one generation, and I can change a nation. And that's what, I think that's a big part of what is happening here. And again, it falls back on us parents, those of us who didn't pay attention to what's going on in our schools, those who just trust those that are in positions of power and authority to do what they're supposed to do. And by the time we find out they're not, now we have to deal with the fallout of our kids out there blowing people away.
Yeah.
And who knows for what reason yet.
And you know what? And there's a part of me, John, that thinks that it's because, parents send the kids to school because they need somebody to babysit with their kids, not necessarily to teach or educate them, so that they can go to work. And the kid's whole life is built around all of these games and things that they play that are not really reality. And then all of a sudden they get into their mind that that's the way to handle all of the issues that they have before them. And they're not getting any real direction. They're not getting any religious beliefs. They're not getting any moral beliefs. They're getting a societal belief that is incorrect.
Well, you've got today, and this is not to taint all teachers or all people involved in education, because that's certainly not the case. Mm-hmm. But we have enough of them in positions of power and authority now that are just as immoral as the ones that are out there legislating immorality. Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things we see in the schools today, the homosexual agenda in the schools today is way beyond anything anybody even comprehends. Yeah. People still haven't come to the realization that you've got people that practice a perverted lifestyle, and they're in the classroom teaching your children.
Yeah.
And now I'm all for do what you want to do behind your own closed doors.
Right.
But I'm also very much against you taking your ideas and beliefs in that particular realm and coming into the classroom and telling my children it's okay.
Yeah.
When I'm at home telling them it's not. And so there's this conflict. And then now we as the parents, we're gauged as the haters. We're the ones labeled as ones who need to be re-educated.
Well, and unfortunately, because we send these kids to school to be babysat with rather than educated, what's going on is that the first and last word of somebody's morals and somebody's ethics that they really learn that at home, and they're not getting it. They're getting a perspective in school of one from someone who has their own perspective and forces it on you, whether it be right or wrong, and it's misguided.
Immorality is proactive. And it will always seek its own level wherever it can go. And if there's nobody there to stop it, or for whatever reason, mm-hmm. then it will continue, and it will take over as much as you let it take over. And it's a sad thing to say, but that's what's happening to our society today. We have lost our moral conscience, and so when things like this happen, everybody's standing around going, gee, how did that happen? This is terrible. How did it happen? It happened because we allowed it.
Yeah.
And there can be nobody else that's responsible for it. We have allowed our schools to turn into what they are. We have allowed our government to become what it has become. We don't take the time because we're too busy paying our bills and having our vacations and doing all this other stuff that we think we're entitled to as Americans. And because of that, we've taken our eye off the ball. We're not. It's like Benjamin Franklin said. One of the things that he said, centuries ago, that I still to this day cannot shake out of my head, is that you'll have a republic as long as you can keep it.
Yeah.
And it was prophetic that he knew that someday that we were going to be attacked from within, and that was going to be more damaging than anything any foreign entity could bring against us, and that's what we're facing today.
Yeah. Well, John, take a minute to talk about your show, because we got to go in about 10 seconds.
Okay, just go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and as Bob said, you want to catch our series this week on Planned Parenthood. It will open your eyes to this political football. I call this deflated political football. This is equivalent to Deflategate of the New England Patriots, but it's political. Both sides have been using this Planned Parenthood for their own political gain, and that's what we covered this week. We talked about it. We exposed it from both sides of the argument. There's a lot of stuff going on the right that shouldn't be happening also regarding this. So we talked about that all week long. Just go to our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, and it'll open your eyes. It'll open your eyes.
And don't forget, John's on live every Monday through Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. You guys can do the math on the Eastern time yourself. You don't want to miss John's show. It's a great show. See how I got by that one, John?
I'm sorry?
See how I got by that one? We're going to let people do the math for the Eastern time themselves. So, hey, buddy, great show. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay happy, and make everybody's life a little bit better because you touched it, will you?
Okay, you take care.
All right, take care. When we come back, we're going to talk about the birthdays for today, the secret and daily teachings for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? Sure you do. It's Thursday, October the 1st. We finally got to the 1st. And it's somebody's birthday. Oh, yeah. Now, here's a guy we all know. He was born in 1924, turned 91 years old today, and he was the 39th President of the United States and the recipient of the 2002 Nobel Peace Prize. Happy birthday, President Jimmy Carter. And here's a lady that we all fell in love with. I'm still in love with her. She's a wonderful lady, born in 1935, and she's an actress and singer. She's the recipient of Golden Globe, Emmys, Grammys, BAFTA, People's Choice Awards, Theater World Award, Screen Actors Guild, and Academy Award honor. You know what? Just a lovely lady. Happy birthday, Dame Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins. And also today is the birthday of a Brazilian plastic surgeon featured on the E! reality series, Dr. 90210. Happy birthday to Robert Ray, born in 1961. Now, today in history, it started in 1961. On October the 1st, it's baseball. Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle of the New York Yankees engage in an epic battle to break Babe Ruth's single-season home run record of 60 in 1927. Maris ends up hitting his 61st against the Boston Red Sox, passing Ruth. Now, I want to tell you, as a young boy, I had the privilege in that year of watching Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra and Whitey Ford and all those guys playing at the old Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, not the one in Chicago. And what a thrill that was. I was with my Uncle Tuffy Lucio and his family. Great, great fella. Well, also today in 1971, Walt Disney World in Florida opens near Orlando, Florida, in the United States. And if you haven't been there, you owe it to yourself to go. You know what? It's a Disneyland here in Anaheim 100 times over. It's just absolutely magnificent. And then finally, in 1982, Sony launches the very first consumer compact disc player, model CDP-101. Wow. Can you imagine all those things taking place in a relatively short period of time, if you think about it? Now, let's talk about the quote for today. It comes from Dave Weinbaum. He says, you know what? It's better to be forgotten than sued. Isn't that the truth? I can guarantee you that. That's absolutely the truth. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. And you know that I say this is all about having a positive mental attitude. And it is. You'd be surprised what your attitude can actually control. Today's secret: if you have needing money in your vibration, then you will keep attracting needing money. Now, you have to find a way of being happy right now, feeling good right now, and being in joy right now without the money. Once you can feel good now, even though you don't have the money, it'll come to you. Make a decision that you're going to do everything you can to be as happy as you can in every single moment. You'll be amazed at how the universe will flood so many things into your life that will continue to make you happy, including money. There you go. You heard it here. Now, let's talk about the Harvard Business Tip of the day. And the management tip today is, your team members shouldn't always agree. You know, team leaders want to nurture creativity. That's why team building is often a high priority, because cohesion is supposed to help team members work together to achieve their goals. But you should avoid fostering too much cohesion. When it comes to creativity, the best teams fight a little bit, or even a lot sometimes. Structured, task-oriented conflict means that new ideas are being submitted to the group and tested. If your team always agrees, that might mean people are self-censoring their ideas or not generating any new ideas at all. Research suggests that when teams forego traditional brainstorming rules and engage in debate, they end up with more and better ideas. Now, as a leader, it may seem like your job is to break up fights, but don't be afraid to act as a referee instead. Allow disagreements over ideas to unfold while making sure that it stays fair and doesn't get personal. That's how you get things done in this world. Yeah. Well, it is time for our interesting but useless facts. And let's start off with this one. Did you know that the female pigeon cannot lay eggs if she's alone? In order for her ovaries to function, she must be able to see another pigeon. Isn't that interesting? Well, kind of anyway. I thought it was. I didn't know about it. How about this? The first toy producer ever advertised on television was Mr. Potato Head. He was introduced in 1952. I had one. My sister had one. My brother had one. How about you? Did you ever have a Mr. Potato Head? I don't even know if they still have them or not. Did you know that Dell Computers was started by a 19-year-old with only $1,000? Wow. And where did that go? Unbelievable. Here's one for you. In its ancient form, the carrot was purple, not orange. That's a little interesting, right? Yeah, I would think so. Try this one on. You know, Mario of Super Mario Brothers fame appeared in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong. His original name was Jumpman, but was changed to Mario to honor the Nintendo of America's landlord, Mario Segale. There you go. One for you. I bet you didn't know that. How about this? A cosmic year is the amount of time it takes the sun to revolve around the center of the Milky Way, about 225 million years. Wow. Isn't that something? Now, let me give you just one last one here. Fanta Orange is the third largest selling soft drink in the world. Yeah. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. My first one's from Jonathan McMillan from Buffalo Grove, Illinois. He's asking about shared home office space, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're coming down to the wire. It's time for us to answer your emails. I want to remind you that we try our best to give you a good comprehensive answer to the questions you're asking. But, sometimes those emails are a little bit sketchy when it comes to the facts that come in. And so we do our best, but we always encourage you to seek the advice of a licensed professional. You're going to get a lot of peace of mind when you do that. They're going to save you more money than they cost you, and they're going to let you sleep at night. Because one of the requirements of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance, which means that if they give you bad advice and you take it, they pay the piper, not you. You don't have to be worried about registered letters and phone calls and somebody knocking at your door. You just have them take care of it. Well, my first email today comes from Jonathan McMillan. He's from Buffalo Grove, Illinois. He's asking about shared home office space. He says, can my wife and I both claim home offices on our tax return? If so, can we claim the same shared space as an office? You know what, Jonathan? If you each meet the requirements to deduct a home office, you each can do so. And you can share the office space, such as a room in your home that's used exclusively for business. Of course, you can't each deduct the full cost of that space, or you'd be getting a double deduction, and the IRS is not going to allow that. So you should separately deduct a portion of the space in the proportion to how you actually use it. Now, generally, a home office must be the principal place of where you conduct your business, or be needed for administrative or management activities because you have no office where you can conduct the business, such as a doctor in a hospital would do. Now, if you need more details on this, go to IRS publication 587. That's business use of your home. But keep in mind that if there's the two of you there, the easiest way to figure out how you separate the expenses is you add both of your gross revenues together and then you figure out what percentage of that total is yours and what percentage of the total is hers. That percentage is the percentage of the deduction that you would actually take on your respective P&Ls or your Schedule Cs, and that makes it fair. Hopefully that helps you, Jonathan. Next email comes from Holly Mondragon from Wall, New Jersey, asking about solo 401ks and says, business proprietors don't take salaries, but they can have 401k plans. How does this work? Well, Holly, for employees, 401k contributions are a portion of salary because that's all the business income that they actually receive. Now, for a business proprietor who takes no salary but reports all his business's income on Schedule C of his personal tax return, the solo 401k contribution limit for this year equals the first $15,500 of self-employment income, plus another $5,000 added to this amount for people who are 50 years old or older, and 20% of all self-employment income. Now, this total may not exceed $45,000 or $50,000 for those who are older than 50 years of age. Let me give you an example. You're older than 50 and have $80,000 of proprietorship income. Your maximum contribution is going to be $36,500. That would be the first $15,500 plus the next $5,000 because you're over 50, plus 20% of that $80,000, which is another $16,000. That's where we get that $36,500. Hopefully that helped you, Holly. Well, next email comes from Dominic Marino from Kells, Michigan, asking about franchise fee deductions and says, franchise fees must be deducted over 15 years, but suppose one paid a franchise fee to open a business that went broke in 1 year. Can you get a faster deduction? Well, you know what, Dominic? When a business asset loses all its value, its tax basis becomes deductible. So if you purchase a business franchise and its value soon after that drops to zero, you can claim a loss deduction for the previously undeducted amount of your franchise fee in the year the loss actually occurs. Now, special rules for such as those for franchise fees apply to deducting the cost of intangible assets. So consult a tax professional before you move off in the wrong direction here. You don't want to make a real bad mistake here. Now, my last email for today comes from Christine Ortiz, and she's from Ben Hur, California. She's asking about mortgage defaults and says, one person made a loan to another as a second mortgage secured by a borrower's home. The borrower defaulted, but also defaulted on his first mortgage. The home went to the bank, and the maker of the second loan got nothing. Can he deduct his loss? Well, Christine, an individual taxpayer who makes a loan like this that goes unrepaid becomes entitled to claim a bad debt deduction. However, unless that individual is in the business of making loans, the deduction is a capital loss rather than a business loss, and the deduction for capital losses is going to be limited. Now, capital losses are deductible against capital gains with a net capital loss of up to $3,000 being deductible against ordinary income each year. Any excess net capital loss over this amount can be carried forward to be used in future years. So hopefully that helps you. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all the emails I deal with here on my show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be David Garrett on the law, and my special guest will be Dr. Stephen Tidwell with his series, Tomorrow's Dentistry Today. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. If you missed any part of today's show, you know what I would suggest is that you get our app. We have an app for Windows. You can just go to the Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live. That app is absolutely free, allows you to listen to all of our archives and listen to our show live and even chat with us during the show. And if you've got Android or a Windows product, you can go to googleplay.com. Do the same search, Robert Cardoza Live, and the app is free. You'll be able to do that either on your computer, your laptops, your phones, smartphones, all of those things. So hopefully you'll do all that. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to make everybody's life better because you touched it. Good night, everybody.